Hello dear friends, welcome to this class. In last class we have dealt with the asexual method of reproduction and we have seen many mechanisms. Now we shall continue to the sexual reproduction part. Before that, please follow me on my Instagram Time to Be Intellectual and Facebook page Time to Be Intellectual and YouTube channel Manoj Patike. And let's continue to the topic, that is sexual reproduction. What is sexual reproduction? Sexual reproduction means here the fusion of male and female gamete takes place. Then we shall conclude it with the sexual reproduction. After the fusion, it develops into a gamete and into embryo and all. Okay, that's sexual reproduction definition. Now we shall see the flower. This is a typical flower structure. A flower, when we say a flower, it contains sepal, petal, ovary or pistil part or stamen part. Stamen and pistil may not be compulsory in a particular flower. We shall see that staminate and pistillate flowers. But in general flowers, we say these are the parts of the flower. Those which contain these parts, we call them as the flower. In flowers, there are different types. In this, very commonly we say if both this pistil part and stamen part, if both of them present in a same flower, then we say it's a hermaphrodite. Both stamen and pistil in same flower. Then staminate, it contains only stamen, no pistil. The remaining parts are there. This pistil will not be there. Only stamens will be there. In the pistillate flower, everything will be there. Stamen will not be there. Only pistil will be there. And these are three types. Next, we shall see the monoecious and dioecious species. Monoecious plants, in which these staminate and pistillate flowers, what they are present on a same plant. They are actually male and female flowers, they are present on a same plant. Such plants we call them as a monoecious. Those present in a different plants we call them as a dioecious. Just remember this thing. I can just give a hint. Monoecious means, mono means one. In one, both male and female flowers are there, then we say monoecious. In dioecious, di. In two individuals, this will be present. This staminate and pistillate will be present. So example for monoecious, maize, castor, coconut is the monoecious plant, that is different male and female flowers present in the same plant. In dioecious, general example is papaya and date palm, and even in hemp also we can see the dioecious condition. In sexual reproduction, we have three important events, such as one is sporogenesis, gametogenesis and fertilization. These are the important mechanisms of the sexual reproduction in plants. We shall see one by one, that is sporogenesis. Sporogenesis is the process of producing the microspore and megaspores individually with respect to male and female. The production of microspore and megaspore, in general we call them as a sporogenesis. One by one we shall see microsporogenesis. Microsporogenesis. First, friends, imagine anthers. If we cut that, within that we can see four pollen sacs. And each sac contains the numerous cells, that is numerous pollen mother cells. In this, each cell is a pollen mother cell. That each cell undergo meiosis and give rise to four haploid cells, that is four haploid microspores. Pollen mother cell PMC divide into undergo meiosis to produce the four haploid microspores. And I have shown you the single spore here. What happens is, in the beginning it will be very thin. It start to accumulate in the wall and undergo thickening. So the thickness of the wall will increase and develop into a spores. Finally, you will look like this. Before the gametogenesis, the final stage, you look the spore as this. So this is the process. The entire process is microsporogenesis. From the anther, it has a four pollen sac. Each pollen sac contains the numerous pollen mother cells. Numerous pollen mother cells. In that, each pollen mother cells will develop into four haploid microspores, which undergo thickening and develop into mature microspore. Okay, let's continue now. It's the megasporogenesis. We have seen microsporogenesis. Now megasporogenesis, that is the female part. In this, the main cell is megaspore mother cell. In the megaspore mother cell, it undergoes first the meiosis. In the meiosis 1, it divides into 2 cells. In the meiosis 2, it divides into 4 cells. That is a 4 haploid. These are haploid cells, and it's a complete meiosis process. After that, what happens is, among these 4, 3 degenerate. 3 degenerate and only 1 remains among them. That is, this is the surviving megaspore, and it develops into a embryo sac. In later days, it first undergoes the meiosis and mitosis to develop into a 8 nuclei and 7 cell stage. That is, we can see that in the gametogenesis. But this is the final megaspore. That is, in the megasporogenesis, this is the final stage where only the one surviving megaspore will develop. That is the sporogenesis. We are seeing the microsporogenesis and megasporogenesis. The final stage in the microsporogenesis, that is the spore with a thickened wall, that is a microspore with the pollen with a thickened wall. And in the megasporogenesis, the final stage is the surviving megaspore. Next, we shall see the gametogenesis. Now, the sporogenesis is completed. Now, next it leads to a gametogenesis. The gametes will form from these spores, and the production of male and female gamete are called as gametogenesis. Now we shall see microgametogenesis. Microgametogenesis, as I said, the pollen with a thickened wall is the end of the microsporogenesis. From that stage, it continues to develop into a gamete. What happens? This is the final stage of microsporogenesis. First, it undergoes a mitosis that leads to a 2 cells, generative cell and vegetative cell. This is the generative. I have shown you with a red color, that is the generative cell, with a green color, that is a vegetative cell. After that, there are 2 conditions. Sometimes in this 2 cell stage itself, the pollen will be released. Then it undergoes, and what happens, after that, it enters into the pollen tube. That is, the process of transfer of pollen into the surface of the stigma is known as pollination, and after some time it leads to the stigma. It starts to develop the pollen tube. This pollen tube and the pollen together, we call them as microgametophyte. After it start to move here, this cell is there, that is the generative cell, that divides again. Then it leads to another generative cell. Finally, it will be 3 cells, but the division takes place during the pollen tube growth. This is the pollen, when the pollen will be released in a 2 cell stage. There are some conditions. Sometimes what happens, this generative cell, before the release itself, they undergo division and they are released in the 3 cell stage. 2 possibilities, 2 cell stage and 3 cell stage. If 2 cell stage, then the 3rd cell will be formed in the pollen tube, that is microgametophyte condition. If the 3 cell stage, they are ready, they are just the pollen tube growth takes place, and it goes and reaches to the point, that is the micropyle, where the fertilization will take place. Next process is the fertilization. I will explain it there. But this is the possibilities of development of gametes or sperms. It first divides into generative, vegetative, 2 possibilities, 2 cell stage and 3 cell stage. Finally, leads to pollen tube growth and reach to the micropyle. Okay friends, let's continue with the megagametogenesis, and this is the end product of the megasporogenesis, and it is a surviving megaspore, and it continues to develop into a gamete. First, what it happens here, only karyogamy will take place. It undergoes meiosis and converts into 8 nuclei state. First, it converts into 2 nuclei. They move to opposite poles, and then again the division takes place, and finally they form a 8 nuclear stage, and thereafter the cell formation will take place. How? See, 3 nuclei will come and form a cell here, that is they form a antipodal cells, and remaining 3 cells come downward, that is the micropyle end. There they form the cell, that is 1 egg cell and 2 synergid cells, and remaining 2 nuclei will form a 1 cell, that is the fusion will take place. They convert into n plus n into 2n stage, that is, this is the endosperm. See, finally, this is the embryo sac. In embryo sac, there are 7 cells, 8 nuclei. In these 7 cells, 3 antipodal, 2 synergids, 1 egg cell, 1 endosperm cell with the secondary nucleus, that is 2n nucleus. Finally, this is the embryo sac, and it's also called as megagametophyte. This is the process of development of a megagamete, that is megagametophyte, in the process of megagametogenesis. Now we have completed the process of gametogenesis. Now let's see what happens during the fertilization process. Okay, I said the pollen will come here. It start to develop in green what I drawn. It's a pollen tube. It start producing a pollen tube and it reaches to a micropyle end. This is the micropyle end, and here the 2 generative cells. The 2 generative cells possessed by this pollen tube will enter here. See, 1 generative cell will fuse with the egg cell. That is the fertilization process. That is the formation of zygote here. Zygote formation takes place, and if we say fertilization means that is the fusion of this male gamete, that is the generative cell, and the egg cell is called as fertilization. But in plant we have a double fertilization process because there are 2 generative cells. There is another generative cell that will move and fuse with this endosperm cells, and the 2n stage, that is the secondary nucleus stage it has, will convert into 3n stage, that is triple fusion. Usually the n plus n stage will take place during this fertilization process. Finally, the endosperm has 3n stage. So now we came to know the fertilization, double fertilization, and triple fusion. Fertilization means fusion of generative cell and egg cell. Double fertilization means the fusion of endosperm cell with another generative cell. Triple fusion means the fusion of 3 nuclei possessed by the endosperm is known as triple fusion. Okay friends, this is the process. These are the main 3 mechanisms of the process what happens during the reproduction, that is the fertilization and all. And let's speak few words about the significance of asexual reproduction and the sexual reproduction. See friends, as a breeder, we are discussing these topics in the plant breeding. As a breeder, these are very important process we should know, because to analyze the things means to first to do pollination or to breed the plants, to whatever we consider about a plant, we should know how the mechanism of reproduction is there in that plant and how we can make maximum use of it. See, in some plants there is only asexual reproduction, then we should concentrate on it to bring the variations and all, and how we can improve it. And if it's in a cross-pollinated, we have to maintain the homozygous condition for to development of things. Then there are many mechanisms to speak about based on this mode of reproduction. So in asexual reproduction we have to know, because it helps us to maintain the uniform varieties. Sexual reproduction will help us to know about how to bring the variations in plant. These are the very important significance of the asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. And by this we end this reproduction part, and in the next class we shall continue with the continuation of this topic, that is the pollination control mechanism, how the pollination can be controlled and how the maximum use can be made out of it. We can be understand in the next class. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Thank you for your support. Your feedbacks are very valuable for me. Please do watch and support. Thank you.